All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how Trump is performing financially at this point. We had another, put this up on the screen, huge collapse in terms of Truth Social. Trump Media is the official name of the company, closed down more than 18%. This has been attributed to the company apparently filed an official document. They want to issue millions of additional shares of stock. This appears to have spooked investors who worry that, flooding the zone with a bunch of new stock issuances, then that is going to cause a further collapse in the price. So this has been a real problem for him. The share price has fallen more than 62%. It originally opened at $70.90. Now it's down to around $27. So since Trump has such a significant chunk of this company, of course, when the stock takes a beating, it is a huge problem for him and his net worth. It also makes it less likely that this is going to be a real bailout for him in terms of being able to pay the cash that he needs to pay for that civil fraud suit that he's dealing with in Manhattan. Let's put this up on the screen. We also had a report from the Washington Post about some of the people who have really, these are ordinary people who have invested much of their savings into Truth Social stock, which, guys, please don't do that. I don't care how you feel about Donald Trump. Please don't do that. So the headline here is small-time investors in Trump's Truth Social reckon with stock collapse. Some Trump supporters who invested in a social media company have seen their share values plunge and see it as a test of faith. So they talked to one gentleman who you can see on the screen if you're watching, Jerry Dean McLean. He has bought hundreds of shares for $25,000. He describes that as pretty much his whole nest egg. That nest egg is now lost more than half its value, of course, at this point. He owns a tree removal service outside Oklahoma City. He says he's not worried. If anything, he says he wants to buy more. Quote, I know good and well it's in Trump's hands and he's got plans. I have no doubt it's going to explode sometime. And it's, individuals like Mr. McLean who have boosted the stock price way beyond anything that would be, rationally justified by the market. This is a company that lost tens of millions of dollars last year, and even the revenue side was paltry. It was a few $1 million that they even brought in revenue, and that was dwarfed by the losses. So, it's really sad to me the way that so many of Trump's supporters have been financially hurt by their support for him and his various causes and other, grifting enterprises that have popped up around the whole Trump universe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And if you see what he said, he's like, well, I want to buy more because Trump has got big plans. I'm like, look, we don't give financial advice. I would just say, in general, you shouldn't be putting your money in single stocks and probably not single stocks that are going to go wildly fluctuate in value, especially whenever it's your entire nest egg. He says that Trump's Truth Social stake has now currently shrank by $3 billion after the stock has tanked. Shares are down by 60% from the peak of trading over the last 3 weeks. $5.5 million in sales, $40 million in losses in operations. There's no path to profitability that is currently on the horizon, at least been released by the company. So you can make your own decisions. I don't know. It's a free country, I guess, if people want to do it. But I do think it is absolutely morally wrong. And it does demonstrate also this is a financial nest egg that Trump will continue to try and to prop up to leverage because it is his bailout from a lot of the financial problems that he has right now. From what I was reading, Krystal, the company can still do stock buybacks, stock splitting. There's various different financial techniques to get Trump to the lockup period out of that, where he can prop up the share price to a certain point where he is allowed to sell, and then he can cash out at least a certain percentage of this in order to boost his overall net worth and to make himself a lot more liquid and to weather the storm. And if he does do that, I mean, just imagine the optics of propping up a stock based upon your own. I mean, they even call it DJT in terms of its stock ticker. And then you think about what that means about the ordinary investors that have put their money in this, and that he was basically financially taking advantage of them based upon their net worth.
Ordinary investors bailing on a billionaire. That's what's basically happening. And it's to talk about this as like a business enterprise. Let's just think about where it is at this point. So there was at least somewhat of a logic to it when it launched, because Trump was kicked off of Twitter. Twitter was like liberal coded under Jack Dorsey, in the sense was like, oh, conservatives are being censored here. So there was at least somewhat of a business case of like, okay, Trump is going to go over to this other quote unquote free speech platform, and many conservatives may follow him there. Well, now you have Twitter owned by Elon Musk. It's now like coded right wing and conservative, and there's no longer the same like anti-liberal grievance around the what's going on at Twitter. And so that has really sort of collapsed the whole business case for Truth Social. And we don't have a lot of insight into their metrics, but what insight we have suggests that their user base is paltry. Plus, it's just really boring to be on a platform where everyone is just like, you know, has the exact same ideological worldview and supports Donald Trump. That's what part of what makes Twitter and other platforms that are successful so interesting, is that you have this whole cocktail of a variety of wildly divergent views. And that back and forth is what makes it so addictive, and why people, even when they want to quit, can't quit. So, you know, and not to mention that the big revenue driver for all of these platforms, and part of why you get all the content moderation policies that you do, very consistent across these platforms, is advertisers. Well, what advertisers really want to jump over to Truth Social? Very few, right? Very few who are ready to just be locked into this like sort of like right-wing conservative lane, because they want to appeal to a much broader set of individuals, and plus they don't have much of a user base on Truth Social to start with. So the business case is not great. The only thing it's really had going for it is the fact that Trump has so many diehard supporters who see buying this stock as being faithful and loyal to Trump, and have some sort of, you know, faith in him, as this gentleman does, that he's going to figure it out and he's going to make it a success one way or another. And so that's effectively all that this stock really has had going for it. Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.